disclosure because we know what we're seeing, and there are so many of us. We're not going to
As I gaze upon the annals of time, one thing that comes through: we are not alone in this universe. It's a thought that rings true. Ancient cave dwellers drew spacecraft on the walls. It's a recurring theme. I've seen the same thing while walking late at night, and I know it's not a dream.
From Malmstrom to Manhattan, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance in the sea.
If you tell the truth, they will ridicule everything you say and do. It's all part of a deception. It's a puppet master's tool. And I've seen those craft shut down just beside those from 10 miles away. And there ain't nothing that the Pentagon can do. They can't make them go away.
From Malmstrom to Manhattan, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance in the sea. From Malmstrom to Manhattan, New York to LA, you can't get the picture if they're pale or they're gray. But what we have seen might not be what it seems when the government's shadows dance in the sea.
There are competing agendas to determine mankind's fate.
The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network and its website are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcasts, the management, other hosts, or advertisers of the network. The shows found on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network can, but do not necessarily, promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only, and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice. From our compound, from the West Coast to the East Coast to worldwide, both on the internet and terrestrial radio, you're listening to Gary Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark.
And here I am, and it is definitely after dark, a day before Halloween, the witching season of the year. Can't wait for it. I got one bag of candy to give out to the 8 or 9 kids that come, and if it's not any more than 8 or 9 kids, I'm going to have a bag of candy for myself. What can I say? You know what? It is chilly here at the compound down at the harbor. I got the heater going in my studio. I'll tell you, normally the studio is so hot I can't take the heat. Now it's the opposite. It is chilly. What can I say? Hey, James, are you here with us tonight on Night Dreams?
Yes, I am. And just so you know, it was a blustering 65 degrees today.
Well, what happened to the 70?
Well, I guess getting close to November, they are calling for 50s this weekend. That's going to be a shock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what else has been going? Anything exciting in your life?
That right there is funny. No.
Well, so I was doing a radio show.
I try to keep my life boring. I got enough excitement with the things I've seen that you can't unsee and whatever. So what about the excitement in your life? Has Miss Gary raised the long arm of revenge yet?
No, but don't forget what I'm doing tonight, because tomorrow's Halloween. The new creature is going to be, drug to the side of her bed for round 2 of horror, waking up to horror. That's what's going to happen. She'll get up at 4:30 and get ready to go take a shower, and this other creature will be standing looking down at her.
The one you got, the lady in blue with the messy hair, that is a scary looking. Boy, if you could levitate her where she was parallel with her, like face to face, a couple feet above her, she would really, she'd really attack you.
I don't know. I'll just wait and see. Hopefully she has a big insurance policy. In case she keels over dead.
That'd be another call to the insurance company, like the Rock one. I had this Halloween figure, and I gave her a heart attack. So can you send a check, please?
Nah, she doesn't have a bad heart. She would have died on the first one. But you can imagine, though, I still keep thinking about that, I would have videoed it, but, she doesn't sleep with anything on at night. So, she would have not liked me putting that up on Facebook, and I don't think Facebook would have liked that.
No, but she would be an internet sensation somewhere throughout the asylum, sure. Goodness.
Yeah, probably in Minnesota.
Oh, were you sure not Florida or Tennessee?
I don't know, but you know what? In the news, a lady dressed up going to, a dance, and she dressed up in a bloody Carrie. Remember Carrie, that movie Carrie, the original Carrie? Costume. And what happened is a deer ran out in front of her car. She hit the deer, and she was knocked unconscious. Well, when the paramedics and the police got there, they saw her in this bloody, dress with blood all over her face, over her arms, all over, just soaking wet with blood. And they thought it was actually the most horrifying accident they'd seen in years. And then they found out it was a costume.
Yeah, that would be, what do they call that, cry wolf, so to speak?
Not really. She did get an accident. She hit a deer, and she was knocked unconscious. Yeah, so it was nothing that she did to fake it, it happened. But, all this blood was, going to a dance.
Right. Well, imagine if she was knocked out pretty bad with a concussion, and she wakes up with tubes or something all hooked up to her, and she's really not that bad.
Yeah. And 2 things has happened here in the last couple of weeks. One here just happened. The one before it, a guy decided to get even with all his friends in his funeral, and he had a recorder in the casket. So when they, were done with the, the services, right? All of a sudden, there was a knocking inside the coffin. And it was screaming, "Get me out of here! Get me out of here! I'm not dead." Well, it was a recording, naturally. But I freaked out. A lot of people were passing out and all that stuff.
Yeah, that would tend to shock people. I just got a strong feeling on that one. That reminds me, the term "saved by the bell." In the old days, they would bury you too soon. So they started putting bells, a little string in the coffin with you in case you weren't dead and you woke up. You rang the bell, saved by the bell.
Yeah, I can't remember one of those. I can't remember what type of show it was. If it was like The Twilight Zone or maybe Outer Limits or one of the other ones they had. But where the guy, no, it's after Thriller, where the guy, did something that voodoo, and he knew he was dying. Okay, so this lady did whatever it did, so when he died, he would come back alive again, and he would live forever. The problem is, when he died, they embalmed him. Okay, so when, he was laying there in the parlor, and all of a sudden he stood up, or he sat up, and he was screaming in pain because of the embalming fluid. and he'd have to live the rest of his life in pain.
Yeah, that would throw a curveball in your plan if they took all your insides out and filled you up with green stuff. I mean, that would wreck that whole scenario. Then he would be an angry zombie, I guess. He would be, basically.
Oh, yeah, and that would be horrible. And then at another funeral, a bunch of mourners got stoned after the services because they went to a restaurant and ate a cake that somehow had hash in it. And these 13 people were stoned out of their mind.
Oh, Lord. You know, I've seen people I've seen tricks like this before on people that have never been high before. I remember when I was in high school, somebody put some stuff in the teacher's drink. I think it was LSD or something, but, you know, next thing I know, they're talking about purple rainbows and rabbits and stuff. Where I was like, what? It's a history teacher. What's that got to do with it? And, yeah, I guess that's what happened. But the people who did it got in serious trouble. Imagine that. I couldn't imagine why.
Well, I imagine these people at the restaurant. I don't know if one of their cakes, special cakes out of hash, which is illegal anyway, got served to all these people that, you know, just got done seeing their loved one, you know, sent off, and they're going to a restaurant just to talk it over, and they're getting high as a kite.
Yeah, that would be a shock to your system, especially, you know, if it was older people and never got high before. And I have trust issues with restaurants. One thing I never do is ever send food back. I said, don't ever do that.
Oh, no, don't do that. I got a story to tell you, and I just want to say hi to Clarence with Close Encounter Radio, too. People check him out on the internet. No, years and years ago, okay, because I'm going on 68 here coming January. This puts me back in my mid-20s. I had a friend, or two brothers, they were friends of mine. They came from Greece. They owned a marble quarry, and they brought their mother over. They were multi-millionaires. And she wanted to die in the United States. That's what was her wishes. So they came over, and for a hobby, they bought a restaurant and converted it to a Greek restaurant. And I had this one friend who was so freaking cheap. I didn't realize how cheap he was. He came from a very wealthy family, well-to-do. And the first time he asked me, hey, you want to go out to dinner? I go, yeah, I can't afford it. Oh, no, it's on me. So we go to the most expensive restaurant at that time in Seattle. I mean, back then it was like $150, $200 for your dinner a person. This is many years ago, right? So I'm eating the dinner. It tastes really good. He's eating the dinner like you wouldn't believe, because the guy was even, I wasn't fat then. I'm fat now, but he was skinny. I mean, he was fat. I was skinny. He was like woofing the food down. Okay, and he was eating the desserts. He was eating all kinds of stuff, right? And now you have to understand, this is a very high-class restaurant with a lot of well-to-do people in there. He started holding the stomach and going, oh, my stomach hurts so bad. Ooh, I think something was bad. Well, naturally, the waiters come running over. Are you okay? Are you okay? And he goes, no, my stomach hurts. Well, okay, so I figured, okay, I'd give the guy a benefit of a doubt. Well, he didn't have to pay for the dinner, okay? They just gave us the dinner for free, which I felt really embarrassed. A couple months later, this is before I married my current wife. I had a girlfriend at that time. So he goes, hey, let's go out for dinner again. And I kind of forgot about what he did the other time. So we go out to a very expensive restaurant, a different one, naturally. And he orders the most expensive food, you know, and tells everybody to order whatever they want. You know, order what champagne, all this stuff, right? Halfway through the dinner, he runs to the bathroom, comes back, and he starts, oh, my stomach hurts. Oh, you know, the same routine that he pulled the other time. Okay, so, you know, naturally they come over and they what can we do? What can make it right? He goes, oh, I don't know. I got food poisoning. And he's saying this where people can hear it, right? So they say, oh, don't worry about it. Hey, you know, the food's on us, all of you guys. The drinks,